Okay, welcome everybody. I am so excited that we have Carolyn Freyer-Jones with us today. Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, we've got some questions prepared for you that I know that coaches want to hear all about your story and your background and how you got to where you are now. You're doing some incredible things, and so we'll just kick it off. Um, you've said that spiritual psychology became the foundation for your entire life and career. What core principle do you feel most coaches might overlook when trying to integrate spirituality with entrepreneurship?
Oh, good question, Jonathan. All right, let me make sure I've got it. What quality or principle do they most overlook? Oh, okay. This is a tricky one for some coaches, right? And I share this because it was super helpful to me in the growth of my business. And it's this idea that, most coaches are like, oh, this person really needs a coach. Like, I know they need a coach, right? And we can all see that. What we don't know is really what is for their highest good, right? I can't pretend to know what's for their highest good. So I often say to coaches, and I definitely have said it to myself, like, how do I know what's going to serve them best? Who am I to say they need a coach? I am not inside of them. I'm not, I can't say what is for their highest good. So for me as a coach, especially early on when I was in early enrollment, it's like before I would meet with someone, I would do my own version of a centering or a prayer or whatever you want to call it. But I would be like, hey, if this is for the highest good, I would love to serve this person. And if it's not, I'm okay with it. Not up to me.
Zero ego.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to pretend to know. That's not up to me. And coaches can get really attached. And I certainly do and have. And it's something I work with in my own spiritual practice.
Beautiful. So many coaches feel not enough in early years, something you personally lived through. What helped you rewrite that narrative and step into an experience of innate wholeness?
Mm. Well, look, my University of Santa Monica education, right? So that's where I earned my master's in spiritual psychology. And that program was a 2-year program where one weekend a month we sat in these processes where the whole curriculum was we used our lives as the content. So I brought my real life into that room. And that's where I got to look at all the ways I judged myself and all the ways I made myself wrong and not enough. And slowly, over the process of 2 years, I started to let go and forgive myself because judgments are an illusion, right? They're not real. They're not the truth. So I got to see, like, wow, I've had this story about myself. And there were some deep, deep judgments in there based on my upbringing, based on, I think most of us have an experience of not enough. And that's not the truth of who we are. And so even now, sometimes I still have those thoughts, but I know they're not the truth now. See, I know I'm in a low moment. I know that I need sleep. I need food. I need a break. I need to get out from behind my computer, whatever it is. I need to go take care of myself. But I now know when I'm being messed with.
Mm. You write frequently about using everything for one's learning and upliftment. How do you help high achieving clients transform challenges into spiritual practice rather than self-criticism?
Well, I mean, look, for most of us, that's a process, not an event, right? So with a client, it's like that's a work over time. I have a client right now, very successful, very financially well off, who's super challenged right now in his professional life with his business partners. And he's starting to work with this idea of like, what is for the greater good? For many, 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 many years, I would say he has bowed to the God of money, right? And success. So we're slowly unraveling all that. And that's a process over time. That is me being willing to point out when I see it occurring. That is his own willingness to read things I send him. And that is what I love about coaching is that it's so intimate, right? Especially one on one. It's all intimate though. And it's like, what happens between you and I is a transmission, right? And my whole job Like I can pull lots of tools and we can do things, but my whole job is to see if I can love you enough, so much that you start to feel a shift inside and that you start to be like, wow, I feel different. Like I feel different, right? Like this person has had some situations where they've behaved in some pretty gnarly ways with their colleagues. And I'm willing to say to him, that's okay. Like that can be worked with. That's not who you are.
Hmm.
That's not who you are. And he's learning to accept that and to how to take responsibility for it.
Powerful. Beautiful. When you left your 12-year leadership position at USM to start your coaching full time, what internal dialogue did you have to transcend in order to honor that calling?
Well, I don't know if I transcended it. I just did it anyway, right? And that was the benefit of being coached. I mean, obviously I have a fantastic coach. Steve Chandler has been my coach for since I really entered the profession. And so it helped, right? I had a coach who was constantly saying to me, you can do this. Didn't mean I didn't have all those thoughts and feelings, right? It was like, am I willing to not make the feelings the driver of the car? Right? The feelings don't get to drive my car. They used to, but not anymore. And that was a process, right? Leaving my full-time job and what I thought was safe was like, okay, I'm willing to take the risk and tolerate the discomfort.
Mm, tolerate the discomfort. And how many people are pushing away discomfort as opposed to sitting with it and investigating it and getting curious?
And just tolerating it. Like, even, yes, all of that. And also, it's like, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable when we stretch. And can I still tolerate that and do it anyway? I don't have to make it go away, but I can tolerate it. Like, it's okay, right? And that's a muscle, right? Tolerating when we're uncomfortable, tolerating it. Yes, being gentle. Yes, exploring it. And the bottom line is it's just part of when we do new and challenging things.
Hmm. You've taught thousands of people the art of service-centered enrollment. What do most coaches misunderstand about enrollment? And is there a deeper spiritual context you feel they might be missing?
Um, it's a great question. What do I think? I think the things that we miss as coaches in service-centered enrollment, which, look, again, Steve Chandler has been my mentor and coach for many, many years. And I think what is easily forgotten is that um, service isn't tactical, right? Real service isn't tactical. So often when we're starting, we're like, okay, but I got to get a client. So like like there's an end game where there's like a quality that doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel good for the people they're supposedly gifting service to, right? It's like and it's coaches think they're not salesy, but we're all salesy because we've been all fed that drank that water without knowing it, right? It's just what happens, right? The coaches who like deny it the most are often the most salesy because it's just like it's so offensive to them. So they're like, I'm not salesy, but then they share their conversations and I'm like, oh gosh, like you're really putting on the pressure there. We're not slowing down. So it's a process of really going, am I willing to look at the possibility that, yeah, sometimes I'm salesy. And the bottom line, like Steve Chandler says, it just doesn't work. Steve was like, look, if salesy worked, we'd do it. We would do it. It just doesn't work. So to learn what the true meaning of service is really a practice over time. It's like, okay, am I willing to spend time with Jonathan without knowing what the outcome will be? Because I just think he's an interesting guy. And I don't have to know whether or not he's going to become a client. Am I willing just to be with him and serve him no matter what and see what happens? Because our job is connecting. Our job is like being curious. If I like people, then I want to be with you. And coaches avoid that, right? They're like, ooh, I don't know. Do I really have to talk to this person again? And I'm like, yeah, if this is the work you want to do. And to me, the most spiritual thing about it is like getting to be with other humans, right? Like that's really important, whether or not we ever get a client.
Reminds me of Steve Chandler's famous line in The Prosperous Coach, needy is creepy. And the question that's coming to me right now, Carolyn, is how do new coaches who are trying to fill their practice to make this a sustainable business shift from that need to service when landing new clients is often the most important thing for them to build the business at all?
That's right. That's right. Look, I think the most important thing a newer coach can do is get into community and get coached by someone who can help them see the neediness, right? Because we don't see it sometimes, especially when we're new. Like I would send an email to Steve Chandler and I'd be like, I got this. This is a great email. And he'd write back and he'd put in one sentence and he'd say, who's the one who wants something here? And I'd be like, ooh, uh, that would be me. Right? So we can't see it. It's like it can be a blind spot and it leaks in our texts, in our emails, in our communications. And some coaches know it, like, oh God, I'm so needy. But a lot of coaches don't. So it takes having people help you see it and learn different language and really learn like, hey, don't send the email when you're desperate. Do
Mm,
not send the email. Go take a walk. Even if you need money, you don't need this person's money, as Steve Chandler would say, right? It's like dial it down. Like go and we have who can help us? The only person that can help us are coaches who can see it.
yeah. It's making me also think, Caroline, of the number of times, first of all, that coaches have been taught to, when they're marketing on their social media, to include some kind of call to action at the end, and how that energetic neediness also leaves people feeling like, stop already.
Yeah. Right. It's a repellent. We don't realize it's a repellent. Right. And the whole idea, like and it happens a little bit less, thankfully, but I still think it's going on, right? A coach will be like, I have an open spot in my practice. DM me. I'm like, oh, no, you don't want to do that. Not great. Not a great look and not real.
Yeah, yeah, fake scarcity, fake
Right.
timelines. Yeah, I agree. CFJ Coaching Success School is known for slowing coaches down to create more meaningful conversations. Why do you think slowness is such a powerful accelerator for income and client results?
Uh, well, most of us are moving too fast, right? It's like we just are in life, right? There's a lot coming at us. The world is not slowing down. So, us learning to slow down, it's like we make better choices when we're slowed down. We connect better when we're slowed down. We serve better when we're slowed down, right? It's like we can only talk to one person at a time. So, look, I did this. I was like, I need clients. And Steve would be like, well, you have 5 conversations on your calendar this week. They're each one person. Can you be with the each one person and just be with them and serve them? And it's like stop thinking in mass quantities. Just be with the person that's right in front of you. And slowing down is how we do that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody likes a distracted, rushed person. At least a lot, we don't hire coaches. Like no one says, "Oh gosh, I just hired the best coach." They are so distracted and so sped up, they're going to really help me.
Yeah. Many coaches feel pressured to perform or prove their value early in a conversation. How do you guide coaches to shift from performance to presence?
Mm. Well, I think that first of all, like it happens, right? We're often proving value. I think that's just part of another thing that coaches have blind spots about. And usually what I'll say to coaches is, look, you don't want to prove value. You want to demonstrate value. You want to demonstrate it, right? And the way we demonstrate it inside of a conversation, my job is to move the needle somewhere in your life or in your world, right? And the only way I can do that is if I slow down and I just start to help you in some way. So that's not like performative. That's like I actually have to be able to do something that will help you, such that you leave the conversation and go, wow, that really helped. Wow, that was really useful. Right. So it's like we really, that means we actually need to learn how to coach. At a minimum, we need to be able to ask really good questions. Steve Chandler once said this, and I think this is true. A coach who learns how to ask really good questions can make a living.
It's also reminding me of that same line again that needy is creepy and that prove it energy comes from a neediness. And
Totally.
the energetics are shifted when we're going into demonstration mode. We actually can come from service, right? I'm going to demonstrate an ability to get curious or ask you some powerful questions. And I don't need to prove anything. In fact, you're proving to yourself that you have answers.
That's right. That's right. And it's like we're all trying so hard. It's like Nancy Klein, who I love, who's an amazing teacher and coach based in England, who developed the thinking environment work. And her work is amazing. And it's very different, Jonathan, than what you and I do. She would call the kind of coaching you and I do exchange coaching, right? Like you talk, I ask a question. Her practice and what she teaches, and there are people who get certified and only do this work, is the coach is there to listen. As Nancy Klein says, we're paid for the quality of our listening. And coaches often, including me, love the sounds of our own voices. So her work is very structured. The coach is only allowed to ask very specific questions in her model, and we aren't allowed to ask them until the client requests it. The client is in charge. The coach is never allowed to interrupt. And you, as the client, could use the entire session to think out loud. And I would literally only ask you one question. It's amazing work. We use it in my school. It's amazing work. It's rigorous because coaches are like, it's like, no.
In my interview with Rich Litvin last month, I said, I love working with coaches because I think they understand the craft so much and they love to be coached. And he said, I don't know that they love to be coached. I think they like to coach. Oh, and there's something in that, I think there are coaches who really love to be coached. They're genuinely interested in
Yes.
self-development. But like you said, I think a lot of them, especially when they consider like, am I able to ask powerful questions? And did I just ask a powerful question? And oh, look at me proving it that I can ask powerful
Right.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, ego is a big deal, right? And we all have them. And it's a learning to learn to be like, am I genuinely here to serve? And that might the most powerful one of the tools they teach at the University of Santa Monica is heart-centered listening. That's the name of the skill, heart-centered listening. And to me, that's like if I can do that with a potential client in a really deep way, things happen. People don't get listened to deeply very much. And they certainly don't get asked questions very much. I mean, the art of actually asking questions is diminishing. I go to parties, people barely ask me anything. If one person asks me a good question, I'm impressed. And that's very rare.
Mm, agreed. And how much of that heart-centered listening is around spaciousness, not more questions.
That's right. That's right. Right. We pepper people, we over question.
Yeah. They'll let them finish, and there's more to be extracted from the single question as opposed to layering on top of it, and we don't get to the bottom of what's really there.
That's
Um,
right.
what are the essential conversation skills you believe every coach must master to create real success and real clients?
I mean, we just talked about one. I think we need to deepen the quality of our listening. I mean, listening like Nancy Klein, they pay us for the quality of our listening. And the other thing is that I'm a huge fan of the power of acknowledgement, genuine, sincere acknowledgement, right? So most people walking around in the world starved for truly being seen and acknowledged for who they are and what they do. Coach, we're in a unique position to acknowledge people in ways that's never been touched inside of them before. And I think that's a powerful thing. I think that can be, I mean, Steve Chandler acknowledged me early on. He was like, you could do this professionally, right? Like, and I was like, Me? What? Like he was really willing to say to me, yes, you can do this. And he saw me in ways I had never even considered for myself. And that's the power of coaching. And I think many coaches don't really understand what acknowledgement is, and they've never been acknowledged themselves, and they don't know how to do it with others. And look, we can learn coaching skills all day long, right? There's 8 million certification programs, and true depth is not tactical, right? It's like my job is to really, am I willing to see the beauty in you and help you see it? It's not tactical.
Yeah, it's very human. In your experience, what are the biggest invisible barriers preventing good coaches from becoming financially successful coaches?
Learning how to enroll. I mean, that's not an invisible barrier, right? It's like we have 8 million certification programs. I don't really know of any that really address enrollment. I mean, there's like most coaches tell me there's 20 minutes, quote unquote, spent on marketing but there's no programs that really go in depth. Enrollment is a skill. It's not a like, oh, I got this, right? It's like it's an art in and of itself that has to marry with coaching. You have to learn it, you have to practice it, you have to do it badly for a long time before you do it well. So to me, it's not invisible. Most coaches have no clue how to actually create clients. They don't. They think social media is the answer, or they think like a 20-minute discovery call. I don't pay people over $1,000 when I'm spending 20 minutes with them. Who would? I don't know who would.
Yeah. And there's a lot of false information about that discovery call and how to land the sale. And it's really not coaching at all. It's just sales tactics.
That's
And
right. That's right. And enrollment is not sales tactics.
no. And it also comes from a needy is creepy energy. Just like let's lock this sale in and move on kind of thing.
Right. Right.
When you teach coaches to increase their earnings, you emphasize integrity and service over strategy. What does service truly mean to you in the context of business?
Like I said earlier, I'm willing to give people time, especially early on, right? Because it's like all about getting reps, right? So really, because coaches ask this all the time. They ask it in my school, they ask it when I'm, doing webinars, whatever. And they're like, like, when do I, like, how do I ask? And I'm like, what's with the rushing to ask and make a proposal, right? Like, you don't even know yet if you can really help this person. Like I remember one time, so my fees were like $5,000 for 6 months, which at that time it still is a lot of money. $5,000 is a lot of money. And I remember I talked to this guy twice. Business guy, I really thought I could help him, and he wanted to talk again. And I was not brand new, but I had a small part-time practice, and I was like, "Oh, Steve, he wants to talk to me again." And I was sort of like, and Steve's like, "Are you telling me you're not willing to have another 90-minute conversation for $5,000?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right." It's like service is really generous. And that means like Michelle Bauman, my business partner who passed away in 2015, people will be like, "You spend 2 hours with people and you don't get paid?" She was like, "What else am I going to do all day long? This is what I love to do. Some people are going to pay me and some are never going to pay me. But this is what I love." So service is generous, and service isn't always attached to an outcome.
Mm. You've worked with corporate executives, lawyers, business owners, and creative professionals. What universal leadership patterns have you observed that transcend industries?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, Not listening, telling versus creating trust. So a lot of leaders, right? I'm coaching a leader right now, and I just met with his team, and they don't trust him. They don't trust him because he makes up timelines and doesn't ask them if they're doable. So he just comes to them and he's like, "We need to turn this around in an hour, 20 minutes, 2 days. And they're like, there's no slowing down to be like, is that doable? They're the ones doing the work. So there's no trust. So many leaders are just making unilateral decisions and not learning how to like understand the people that are helping them create success.
Or it sounds like more ego again.
Yep.
Yeah. Having co-developed the soul-centered professional coaching program at USM alongside the Hulnicks and Steve Chandler, what was the most transformative principle that shaped your approach to leadership and coaching?
Mm. Well, that was a really special time in my life, right? Because Michelle was still alive and it was a rare experience because doctors Ron and Mary Hulnick had never asked grads to come and teach a program. So they knew Steve Chandler. They were good friends with him. He had done work with them, and they said, "Would you do this? And who would you ask to do this with you? Who are grads?" They needed grads, and he said, "Carolyn and Michelle are the only two people I know who have the skill set to help USM grads become successful coaches." And like learning how to enroll and have the USM tools and skills so fully embedded in who they are. And, USM, the basis for the program is like we are all spiritual beings having and using a human experience, right? And the program is about learning those tools and skills to help you in your life. And there are many USM is not designed to produce coaches. It just so happens that the curriculum and the tools and skills can really make for a great coach. That's not what they do. That program was a 1 year program for people who had already done the 2 year master's degree program. You had to have completed that. So, one of the greatest things about that program was to be in a room of fellow graduates who all really got the deeper context for life. And then they wanted to learn how do I serve as a coach? Like how do I create a business out of this, right? And that was super exciting because you know, USM was one of, if not the most transformative life experience I'd ever had. So to help other coaches like learn how to create a business but guess what? It was all the same in that they were needy and creepy and they were pushy and they wanted to like make people be more spiritual. Like let's force others to be more spiritual.
Yeah.
So we had to do all the same things, and it was a really fun opportunity.
You built a financially successful practice while raising a young daughter. What did becoming a parent teach you about boundaries, priorities, and self-trust in business?
I was terrified to have a child. So just let me say that I wasn't like, oh, I can't wait. I was terrified. I was terrified of what it would do to my life. I was an older mom. I got pregnant at 40. So it was a lot, right? And I remember Michelle saying to me, who already had two children, two boys who were like 12 and 13, right? So she was further ahead. And she said to me, have accomplished more since I've become a mom. The best things in my life, professionally and personally, have occurred after I became a mom. And that was my lifeline, that was possible. So what having a child does is it naturally creates boundaries, right? Like you got to do bedtime, got to stop what you're doing, right? Got to do pickup, got to do drop off. Like it puts some structure in your life that might not before. You could work forever. Like, hey, I could stay at my office, right? Nope, not when you have a kid. So it naturally creates some structure and you naturally learn to do more in less time because it's a requirement. It's a requirement. So that was amazing. And it also gave me more compassion for what people work with, right? Like, not even just people who had children, everybody. Like, having a child, like, changes the way for me how I saw the world. Because I was like, oh my gosh, we all went through this. We all were babies and were toddlers and we all had parents who thought they were doing the best they could.
Hmm. Given everything you've experienced in motherhood, leadership, and entrepreneurship, what new edge are you personally exploring in your own coaching now?
Mm. I right now am I'm really clear, Jonathan. I'm working with people who are uh, real pioneers in the world, right? Steve Chandler is one of my coaches. Dr. Mary Helmick is one of my coaches. Nancy Klein is one of my coaches. I'm going to have an opportunity in a couple of weeks to start working with a coach, a guy named Dr. Bill Pettit, with another client of mine. So I feel like it's really important to spend time with people who are our heroes, right? Who are like, wow, they're 20 years ahead of me and they are deep in their work. Like they've created bodies of work that really have made a difference. So I'm doing that personally with them. Like I'm a client. So I love it, right? I get to learn from people who've been at this a long time and who've been at life a long time, right? So that's important to me because my daughter is going to go to college in a year, and I want to meet that with as much love and compassion and all the things that I can for her and for me. And then in my coaching, it's like one of the things that's the most fun for me is to just deepen in my ability to reveal who I am, right? So it's like for a long time, coaching, like, I mean, I certainly shared stuff. And I think there's more opportunities for us to reveal in ways that are appropriate and that really serve the client.
Hmm. What role has mentorship played in your evolution as a coach, and what qualities do you look for when choosing a mentor?
Yeah, good question. They have to be fun. I like fun and funny people. Steve Chandler is one of the funniest people I know. And depth, right? For me, it's like soul line, goal line. Look, I help coaches learn how to make money. I'm a fan of the goal line, but I'm a fan of soul line, right? There's things inside that are always getting in the way that we can help people with. That's the most interesting coaching to me. I don't want to just help someone make money. I want to help them grow as a person. So for me, I look for mentors who can help me deepen into who I am.
Hmm. You've mentioned Steve Chandler several times already, and you've worked with him for over 15 years. What is one lesson from Steve that completely changed the trajectory of your coaching business?
Mm. Stop thinking about yourself. He has a sentence which I love. He's like, it's always I, me, my. So many coaches are like, me, my coaching, me. And if I can step out of that and really center you in my communications, in what I give you, it's like you're the one, not me. And if I can really learn how to do that, that's a game changer.
And what I'm hearing in that is the emails that get sent out in any social media posts and anything that you're shifting the focus to the client who can insert themselves into what you're saying.
Yeah. It's like I don't have every email I send doesn't have to end with anything about me or my stuff. It's like, can I just give you value? Can I just offer you things that I think will make a difference in your life? It's like some people are really long games, right? And is that okay? And some people will never become our clients. One of the things I love is the idea of all of us becoming trusted sources of transformation. It's like, am I a trusted source? Can you come to me in 6 months and be like, hey, Carolyn, I'm looking for something that would help me on this. Can I just send it to you and not be like, ooh, maybe Jonathan needs a coach?
Oh, yeah. That's a huge shift for a lot of people, I think. Very powerful as well. CFJ Coaching Success School is entering its eighth year. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah.
In an industry where programs come and go.
Yep.
What energetic or operational commitments do you believe create true longevity?
Mm. Well, look, I mean, look, to me, we can create programs or schools, and if it doesn't work for you, you stop doing them, right? Like there are times, like I won't do the school forever, right? But my commitment is that I will do it for as long as it's fun and as long as I'm still learning and growing. And I'm a fan, Jonathan, of like, we don't really, I mean, remember, I worked at USM for 12 years. I come from an experiential educational model where I know that if people have more time with you, more will occur, right? More will occur. So, I knew if I started the school, it wasn't going to be a 1 year try. I knew it would take at least 3 years to even kind of figure out like all the things, right? What works, what doesn't. So to me, it's like we're just hitting our stride. I'm just hitting my stride, right? And um, that's just how I roll, though, right? I'm not like, I love new things and I love consistency. And I think consistency is like considered yucky or like, ugh, who wants consistency, right? We joke in my school, we're like, consistency is sexy.
Very. We've touched on this a little bit, the coaching industry being saturated with quick tips and formulas and sales this and sales that. Why do you believe principles and endure, but tactics expire?
Mm. I think tactics, ultimately without like if they're not like sometimes tactics are important, right? Like we coaches need to learn how to articulate certain things in ways that make sense to someone. And tactics without heart, without like true like true heartfelt intention to help someone don't feel good, right? They don't feel good to people. Like when I feel like someone's just being tactical with me to like get something, it doesn't feel good. And and people know it, right? Like you and I both know when something doesn't feel good, even if I can't articulate why, right? Now I have skills, I can be like, I feel like this person wants something from me. And even if someone can't articulate that, they know. They're like, oh, I don't like this person, right? So tactics without like real heart and real like genuineness feel icky. And I think people can feel it and they know it. So that's where just tactics just don't work, right? Without real true intention to like make a difference in the life of another.
Hmm. In your book, The Total Coaching Success Book, you outline the inner capacities and outer practices required to build a thriving coaching business. From your vantage point, which of these are coaches most likely to skip or underestimate, and what impact does that have on their results?
Most coaches don't take nearly enough action, period, end of story. Most coaches do not actually get enough conversations on their calendar to create a business, right? Like to me, it's still surprising that, and this is a function of the industry, it's still newish, but it's still amazing to me sometimes. A coach is like, I don't know, really know like what I'm supposed to be doing all day. I don't really know. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we got to get you on the court and into some conversations. Like you need like they're like, what do I do? They're like, how do I create convert? I don't understand, right? But and I'm like, that's what coaches who are on social media and they're like, I don't have clients. I'm like, because social media is not, it's not that you can't create clients out of beautiful posts, but it's not going to happen there exclusively. It won't work, right? So coaches don't know what to do all day long around. If they're lucky enough to have a few clients, they're like, what do I do when I don't have clients? I'm like, you need to be creating conversation and community and connection, right? But they don't know how. So like we need to get systems. Like, yeah, you got to you want to be talking to people. Well, what do I do? I'm like, what about getting out from behind your computer and going somewhere?
Mm. And so closing the gap then from needy being creepy to being on the court, like you
Right.
say. So there's the getting out from behind your computer, go be in person and be an interesting member of society.
And
What
not an
else?
interesting one. I don't want to be an interesting member of society. I want to be an interested member of
Yeah.
society.
Yeah.
Right. So go serve. I don't know, like, I'll often say, like, we have somebody in my school. She teaches in the school now. She was a student, Tarita Preston. She's one of the most fabulous coaches I know, based in Cincinnati. She likes tennis. You know what she did? She joined a tennis club because she loves tennis and she wanted to learn to be a better tennis player. Guess what? She got clients out of the tennis club. I used to do CrossFit. I did CrossFit for like 10 years. I loved it. It was an incredible community. And I was like, oh my God, Steve, so many good clients have come from CrossFit. And he was like, Carolyn, if you went to the library every day, you'd get clients from the library if you wanted. Like, we need to be out in the world doing things we love, and clients can get created there, right? And if you don't like going out in the world, join a Zoom club. It's like we need to be connecting with other humans. Coaches avoid people, which is hilarious, even though they want to do it.
What do you think that comes from? What's the avoidance of people all about?
It's a funny question, right? Like, I do think the pandemic contributed to a lot of it, right? A lot of us got super isolated, including coaches. And I think that did something to us as a people. Right? And I love that before. And I think people are scared. I think coaches are scared to be in conversation because we're nervous. How do I have a conversation? How do I ask? How do I be with someone? Right? Like, it seems crazy, right? But it's like we learn coaching skills, and then there need to be connecting skills around those coaching skills. I can't walk up to you at a party and be like, well, let me coach you on that. That feels weird.
Yeah,
I need to be able to be like, Jonathan, tell me more about Mexico. Why are you there?
deeper, more presence.
Yep.
What do you hope the next generation of coaches understands about success that your generation had to learn through lived experience?
Wow, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that, Jonathan. It's a funny question. I think all younger coaches, newer coaches, some of them are not younger, but they're newer. It's like, yeah, building a coaching business is work. It's effort. It's like you got to put in the work, right? Like, I'm sure you spent significant hours building your business. Would that be accurate?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look at your answer. Every coach I know is like, oh, yeah. No coach I know who's created success is like, oh, it was so easy. It was a cakewalk. No, it takes real effort and work. And I think newer coaches, there's a misunderstanding in the business that, oh, there's something that got in the water that makes it look like it's going to be easy or easier. And that's just not the case. It's like it's effort, and it's sometimes challenging, and it's uncomfortable. Entrepreneurship takes way more of us than people really articulate. And that's true in the coaching profession. We are entrepreneurs, and that is in something to learn, and it's muscles, and it's sweaty. And like, I loved it. It was one of the most fun times in my life building my business. And I worked my butt off, but I loved it. And I think newer coaches are sometimes under the illusion that they can do it in 4 hours a day.
I think you're right. Something did get muddied in the water because, I was definitely under an illusion that this was going to be an immediate freedom gig, and
Right.
that walking away with my coaching certification meant instant clients. Like, oh, I have a practice now, and man, there's nothing further from the truth. It really is time in, dedication, reps, and real
Yeah.
conversations with
Yeah.
people who could then be interested in the idea that, especially for those that have never heard of coaching, to
Right.
meet a coach and they're like, why would I hire you?
Right, right. People don't have budgets for a coach. They don't even know what it is, right? So it's really like, are we willing to slow down and consider that this is a profession that is pioneering and helping people and learning to build rapport and learning to like find out what's happening in people's lives is a process, and it might take 3 conversations, and when we're early, it might take 6. And can we make room for that as we're learning? Like, I say to coaches, look, yes, are there coaches who make 6 figures in a year? Yeah, it happens. And more often than not, it might be 3 years, could be five for some.
Yeah. Last question. For new coaches entering the industry today, what's one piece of advice you might give them as they're beginning their career?
Find people, communities, coaches who have what you want, right? Like I got Steve Chandler. I was like, this guy's like, I liked him. I knew that he was real and funny, and he spent a lot of time with me. I was like, I want what he has. So find, don't try to do this alone. Do not attempt to sit there after your certification and not find other ways to get help, right? It's like that is scary and it doesn't work. I'm like, find coaches, find you, find people and places that are people will say, oh, yeah, that guy, Jonathan, he helped me. Like, I didn't know what I was doing and now I made 50K. Great. We're all over. There are lots of us who can help. It's not just me. It's not just a Steve Chandler. It's not just Jonathan, Ankush, Rich Litvin, Melissa Ford. There's a lot of us who can help you. There are people, and there are just tons of people who do it well.
I would add to that, it's much more fun when you've got people next to you
Oh,
helping, championing you, celebrating all of your gifts, your uniqueness, the ways in which you serve that are different than others, really helping you to discover yourself.
oh,
And the best coaches are those that own it. They're just, I am me, right? And that gets to serve you being you.
right. See, and I'm a fan of community, right? Like, I didn't realize at the time when Michelle and I worked with Steve, we hired him together. Like he coached us individually and together. And that was like a mini little school, tiny, tiny. And we laughed at the ridiculous mistakes we made. I mean, if you can't like laugh and have fun and go, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Amazing. Carolyn, thank you so much for all of your insight and your experience and all the ways in which you're serving the coaching community still today. And thank you so much for being with us, for your time, and for all the ways in which you're going to continue serving at the CFJ Coaching School. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.